I'm not really necessarily prepared to do this, but I just feel like it's the time to do it because of the music that we did, and
It was awesome.
It was perfect. Um, so some of you don't know me. I've been with Sandi for
2009, January 2009.
11 years. And 2 years ago, I got a job, and in an industry that I have worked in for 20, and I felt like it was the place to go. Now, tell me why I felt like that, because it was 500 miles away from here, away from all of my family, all of my church, all of my friends, and I had one person that I knew there, one. But I had peace about it, so I went. Now, mind you, so 3 years before that, I had turned down a job making 6 figures a year, plus lots and lots of perks. And I turned it down because I didn't have peace about it.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so, because they ended up selling the place and I would have been out of a job anyway. But I was going to try to get all this off, but I can't.
I'll help you.
So when I went to East Texas, I didn't know why I was there, honestly. The job that I went to, I felt like I was in an abusive relationship with that job. It was horrible. The people there, for lack of a better explanation, it was like Peyton's Place, if y'all know what I'm saying. It was horrifying. The one person that I knew there, and I and her husband prayed over that place and anointed it. And we prayed that all the truth would come out. And let me tell you, that place fell apart. Fell apart. They ended up selling the dealership to another owner, and within several months, I was out of a job. And so, but this is how good the Father is, okay? I lost my job on January the 15th. In the beginning of February, I got a phone call. Now, let me back up a step. My brother was in prison. Most of you know that. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. He had been given parole in December, and I'd been waiting and waiting and waiting for a release date. Because he was ready, I was ready. He was going to be and do all the things he had never done before. And so I got the notice that he was going to have a release date, which was February the 10th, which was really awesome. And I was so excited, and I tried to call, I can't call him. I'm waiting for him to call me, and he called me every day without fail. We talked on the phone. Oh, not to mention the fact he got moved 30 minutes from my house when I moved there. From Amarillo to 30 minutes from my house in East Texas. And so we talked every day, and I would go see him. Well, so I found out on January the 31st that his release date was February the 10th. He never called me. I was like, what in the world? Of course, I'm thinking good. I'm like, Robert, call me. I know you feel me. You gotta call me. I was so excited. I could not wait to tell him. He never called me. That was on a Saturday. On Monday, I called the unit and asked for the guy that's in charge. I can't think of the name. What's he called right now? Warden. Thank you. I asked for the warden. He would not take my call.
Wow.
So I told whoever I talked to please check on my brother, because he calls me every day and I haven't heard from him in 3 days, and I need to know what's happened. Nothing. Nobody calls me back. So I called again. And I called again. And I called again.
If you will, gets the oil.
Now, exactly. And now, after in all of this time and all the things that have been going on, he's been sick. He hasn't felt good. He's been going to the doctor over and over and over and over and over. And they keep telling him, oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. Oh, it's just this. Oh, you're taking too many ibuprofen. Oh, you're just full of poop. Oh, you're just, there's nothing wrong with you. Just go back to your barrack. From December until August. In August, that was December of 19. I'm sorry, December of 18. In August of 19, he found out he had stage 4 colon cancer, which, if they had done anything that they were supposed to do,
They knew.
if anyone had touched his body, they would have known. But we have a corrupt system, and I don't care if you work there or not, the system is corrupt.
It's majorly corrupt.
It's horribly corrupt. It's horrible. So anyway, back to February. So finally on Tuesday, I call again, and I still have nothing. And so I didn't know what else to do, so I called again. I'm asking for the warden again. They transferred me to the warden's office. Still, the warden won't talk to me. So I'm like, I told the person on the phone, I said, I don't care how long it takes me to talk to this man. I want him on the phone because I haven't heard from my brother now in 4 days, and we talk every day. Something's going on. I need to know what it is. Hold on just a minute. Comes back to the phone. The warden's going to call you back. I said, if he doesn't call me back, I will be calling. I assure you. Oh, he'll call you. So I'm at work, and he calls me and tells me that on January 31st, the night I found out what his release date was, he was taken to the emergency room because he couldn't breathe.
Wow.
He was in the emergency room screaming for them to kill him because he was in so much pain. The guards, there were a couple of guards there that were really nice and really liked him. And I met them later on while I spent 10 days almost up there with him. He had pneumonia, supposedly he had pneumonia and a staph infection in his lungs. And when he was brought in, he was yelling for them to put him out of his misery. Even the guard who was there with him the night they brought him in told me that he said, man, you don't remember that? He said, you were yelling, please just put me out of my misery. I can't breathe, please. So February 10th, now mind you, I'm off work this whole time and I'm 4 hours away from the hospital he's in. If I was here, I would have been 10 hours away. 4 hours away from the hospital that he was in. So I go to the hospital, I spend time at the hospital, going home back and forth several times. And February 10th comes and goes, and they don't release him. I was angry because there's just too many things to tell you of all the things that I went through trying to help him through that corrupt system, okay? February 10th comes and goes, they don't release him. He's in shackles in the bed, hands shackled, feet shackled, a guard in the room, a guard outside the room.
Even though he is already
Even
on
though
parole.
he's on parole. And I was very angry, and I kept telling Robert, I'm like, I'm going to say something. I'm not happy. And he said, don't say anything. You'll just make it worse for me. That's how much they had beat him down. You guys don't know my brother. That's how much they had beat him down. He was just to the point that he was like, you know what? No, please don't say anything. It'll only make it worse. February the 14th, the cell phone, calling people, calling authorities, calling the governor's office, calling every possible person person that I could contact and saying, what are you doing? Get him out of here. He's been paroled. His date has come and gone. Get him out of here. What's happening? For days. They made me come to the hospital in Angleton and sign hospice paperwork for him. That was the only way they would release him.
Even though he was free.
Even though he was free. So I refused to sign it. And they were like, well, we're not going to release him unless you sign it. And I said, you work for the hospital. You are not my brother's prison guard. And I'm not signing anything until I understand everything that's happening. So I did end up having to sign the papers at the hospital. But once we left the hospital, it didn't matter anyway. So it was pointless. So... But I did have to hire hospice care for my house for when he arrived at my house. They loaded him up in an ambulance and took him to my house on February 14th. So 7 hours of a trip for him where it's a 4-hour drive. So we got him home and it was just kind of surreal. Mind you, I'm off work. So I have all this time to go and do and take care of him and do what needs to be done, which was totally amazing. And then I got a job. He got released, I got a job, and I started work on that next Monday. And I'm just telling you, the timing of everything, I cannot deny that it was anything but Father doing all of this. And you guys are wondering, what's going on? I've been gone for 2 years. I'm telling you, the Father had this whole thing planned, the entire thing. And I'm only giving you a little tip of the iceberg of what happened.
How's your brother? He died.
He passed away. He passed away on June the 6th. He was in hospice care in my home. And the hospice care facility, the people that were coming to the house were wonderful. They were wonderful. One lady in particular was like, you know Hebrew? I would like to study with you. Would that be okay? I'm like, absolutely, that would be great. And it was just really cool. So, I love you. And he turned around and he smiled real big at me. And that was the last response I got out of him. And he kind of, he fought a little bit, and I just told him, I said, look, I said, you have to find your peace with the Father. I can't give it to you. It's up to you. You're the only one. Up to you. I can't find it for you. You have to find it with him yourself. And he stopped. Next to had known. They left. It was just that peaceful. And I'm just going to tell you that it was horrifying for me through that time. It was horrifying to watch what he was going through and knowing that it could have been completely different. He never was able to live the life that he should have been able to live, because I'm telling you, he was a different man. He was a completely different man. He was very, I don't even know how to explain it. He just, part of it I blame on the way that they beat him down, because he was so passive now, where he used to be more, well, he's a little rowdy. How do you think he ended up in jail? He was rowdy, but he was so passive, but he just wanted to bless his daughter and his grandchildren. That's all he wanted to do. And he didn't get the chance to do that. But I'm telling you guys, I would not trade the 2 years that the Father gave me in East Texas at all. Everything that I went through, y'all just don't know how much time I spent in tears in that place. It was a very difficult time, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I know it was just the Father showing me over and over and over his faithfulness, his goodness. even his mercy. Because it could have gone on a lot longer.
Yes.
It could have been a lot worse. And I'm thankful that it wasn't. I really just want you to hear and see the goodness of the Father, even in the midst of all of that storm. Even in the midst of all of that chaos and fear and anxiety and loneliness. I was in East Texas by myself with this, with no help from my family. No help from my family. Right before I left, my sister passed away. I was there for a year. I had a brother that passed away. Then this brother passed away in June. I mean,
Wow. And your mother in 14.
yeah. Just thing after thing after thing after thing. But I'm just telling you, on the other side of it,
Yes.
I wouldn't trade it for a thing. Because of all the things that he did and the way that he showed his faithfulness to me and how he loved on me and how he set me free of some things that I can't even.
Another time.
Yeah, that's for another time. But it's a good one too. It's a really good one. But I just want more than anything for you to see the goodness of the Father in all of this time.
Yes.
All of these things. As horrible as it was at the time, it was still amazing. It was still amazing because he's faithful, because he's good, because he loves us, because he wants to show us, which is amazing. So